What's up, YouTube fam? Robbie C here, and today we are going to talk about, is the trail starting a series with just a unique driver that nothing else has ever been like, or did Latitude 64 crack the case and they have their own version of the trail? Before we dive in, I have to ask the most important question of the day. How you doing today, Julian? You having a good one?
So catch me if I fall.
So one of the most fun pieces of content that I've been making throughout this year are the buzz battles. I love the idea of taking a mold that you guys know and are familiar with, and you either have strong feelings for or against the buzz most often, but you are taking this series and sort of controlling the direction that it goes, because as I continue to showcase the buzz and look for the buzz, I'm getting to go through certain molds and options that I just never even would have considered. Like this sneaky good time. The worship was phenomenal. I had a great time with it. Wouldn't have made it on the series otherwise without you guys voting for it. So I started thinking to myself, if I were to take that series and expand it a little bit, what would I want to do? Well, the first rule, alliterations are always awesome. So we wanted to go with something where we could maybe have a second alliteration like the buzz battles. Now the buzz is pretty unique, and I really couldn't come up with something related to the destroyer, because I think like destroyer something could also be interesting if we go with the third iteration of this. If you guys aren't excited about this one, because there is a disc that I put out a video that did well because I think people are interested on it, talking about why the trail is a disc that everyone should back, whether you are a slower arm speed or you have a super fast arm speed. I mean, I watched Germ throw this on Des Moines Challenge, and he went OB long on hole 4. That's a big shot. So fast arms can also use this, even on the Pro Tour. And thus the idea for the trail trials was born. Now, what are the trail trials? The trail trials are looking at the trail made by MVP and deciding if you could change one thing about the trail, like you wish the trail did blank, what would that be? I've tossed around how I want this series to go, and I think that we can sort of take it in two directions. And I wanted to go with a very popular competitor that's just come out in the sweep, and let you guys sort of discuss what direction you want this series to go. So I'll go ahead and dive into the first hole, showcasing the sweep. We're gonna play 9 holes and see how it goes, with the trail going side by side, and we'll kind of talk about the series and what you can expect here. Now, I've got 2 trails on me because I've got a stock trail and the Neutron, and then green steel is just the most overstable trail that I've ever thrown or seen. So it's hard, even though this is the one that's in my bag, I felt like it's not a fair comparison comparing in the trials with this disc. So we've got 2. We'll go ahead and go with our first one, which is the stock, and we're playing to the yellows, which is the D pin position. It's 422 feet on a turnover, pretty much the whole way. And that is far and straight OB. Gonna have to turn it a little more, Crawford. Let's see how the sweep does. Okay, also nose up and also OB. Good start. I think I'm finding more and more when I play this hole that I hate this hole, because there's a lot of gravel that rolls onto the tee box. So like you can just hear as I'm walking up, like, I don't love that I'm like having to jam a distance feeling shot, and I'm nervous about my footing on hole 1. So let's see if we can actually put some anhyzer on this. Nope. Okay. Well, good news is they're all bad. So it's going to give us time to walk down the fairway and discuss what we're looking for out of this, and showcasing we keep the bad shots in. So the idea of the trail trials was, if we were to put the trail on trial, that would mean that it in theory had done something wrong, or it was accused of doing something wrong. And thus the question form that I think is really the basis of this entire series no matter which way we decide to take it, and that is if you could get the trail to do something else. I love the trail except for it doesn't blank. What would the answer to that question be? Okay, since those throws all went so swimmingly well, we're gonna throw all three again. Just continue to give a baseline, get loose, stretch, all that jazz. I'm gonna try to put these on hyzer. Hopefully they'll stand up a little bit, and we'll have a good shot, good show. Much better, much better. We'll go trail. Give ourselves the opportunity. Green steel and I just have such a turbulent relationship. Oh, I smashed that. Felt really good out of my hand. Grip locked into Kingdom Come. All right, let's see how the sweep does. I think that's real good. Got up there. Now, both of those were thrown on pretty extreme hyzer, and I would say neither really stood up. The first trail might have stood up a little bit, but editors can play it back for you. I don't really think it did. I think maybe it got up a tiny bit, but it never stood up to flat for sure. Sweep definitely held that hyzer the whole time, but I mean, we put it on a ton of hyzer, so I would have been shocked if it did stand up. Now, my answer to the question is, I don't know, like, I don't know what more I think I'd want the trail to do, and I kind of am interpreting this entire series on lots of times when I get hyped about the trail, when I discuss it with other people, I will either be met with one of two responses. One is absolute trail love, that people are like, this is amazing, I don't see how this disc ever leaving my bag, and yeah, this thing is everything I've ever wanted and dreamed of. And the second comes from folks who are sort of on the opposite side of the spectrum of like, I don't get what the hype is about, I don't see it, it's like a disc at best, and it has that gyro feel, so I'm probably out. And as a guy whose disc golf love language is hyzer flips, I think the trail kind of does this perfectly for me, because I can do exactly what we just did on the last hole, where I throw it on enough hyzer and it's not gonna stand up, it's not gonna be tempted to stand up, it's just gonna hold that exact shot. So it's kind of perfect for me in that realm. But I know some people's responses are gonna be, quite simply, I would love the trail if it wasn't gyro. So something coming up like the sweep could be a really good alternative. Quite curious. We're going forehand here, and I'm not seeing it in the short, yeah, so it's in the par 4, 533 feet, downhill to the right. So we want to stand something up, have it carry towards that road, and then fade. In like El Clasico, hole 3 at George Ward, pretty much a guaranteed headwind coming up this hill into this wind tunnel, so you can't let it flip too much. We're going to see what the trail can do, starting with green steel. Yeah. So much wind ride. You could just see it bobbing and weaving through the wind. That was a stable trail, so let's start with, yeah. That's our significantly, that's less stable, and it stood up, held. Let's see what the peak does. Okay, so peak comes in. I think the peak, from my immediate read, I feel like the peak is more stable than the trail, because I feel like it's living between the stabilities of my two trails. So if your answer, I wish the trail had more stability, like a tick more, maybe the sweep's for you. We've got this tree with like a little rock coming out of it, and just left of that, a little further down, is ye old basket. Not OB, just in bounds. Okay, we're gonna go forehand out towards the cars and then let it crash in. We threw the forehand, we just didn't throw it out wide towards the cars at all. And therefore, that's the tricky part about these kind of discs for me, is that they're very like neutral. So like I just threw that and it stood up to flat on the forehand, but then it hard crashes and I'm like, I don't know how wide I'm allowed to hang you before you like turn over on me. So just green steel here. Green steel. I know. Just got to beat that tree. And I didn't beat that tree. Guys, we're playing great golf. The old George Ward effect for myself. I come to this course that I've played more times than every other course I've probably ever played combined, and I play like absolute doo-doo. That's no good. Now this brings us to the question of your involvement in the series, because I do want you guys to be heavily involved here. In the buzz battles, you are voting for the mold that you want to see compared to the buzz next. And I think that has worked really well, and I have no intention of changing that. So I think that your involvement could simply be, hey, for the next disc that puts on trial next to the trail, what if it was you guys pick the mold? So you have the sweep being compared today, but you guys want to see what the vulture looks like compared to it next episode. Whichever, if the vulture is the comment with the most interactions, then it's going to be the vulture in the trail trial. But my second option that I was thinking of was a little more focused, and I think that it maybe addresses a wider range, but also has a chance to make the series like possibly shorter, maybe? Gotta swing it wide, gotta swing it wide. Till we start throwing some decent backhands. We're getting backhand practice while we're out here. So this is a hole that this used to be way more gettable, way easier, because you basically just threw it at this back tree line high and let it stall out over to the woods. But the bushes on the back line over the years have continued to grow, and they've grown taller. This tree has continued to grow and grow out because, you know, nature be naturing. So both lines become a little more clogged. In order to get there on the low bullet line, you've got to throw over the sidewalk is a river. So you can't get caught in the sidewalk. So you got to throw it there, but it's super low ceiling. This one gets way harder to get every single time. So I still think that it's the like booming stall hyzer over the top. But when I've been throwing this lately, I've been getting a hold of it and throwing it a little too flat, and I just sail straight into the woods long. Let's hope we don't do that today. Nope. Just babied it, and we'll be super short. Good news is we're playing CTPs. Let's see what green steel does and if I can actually get a hold of one. That's rude. Well, that one felt a lot better, but it touched one branch, and that small twig deflected it into the tree, and GG's, mate. we love the summer. That's better. It's short, but it's better. We kind of pulled it inside. We didn't push that back tree line. Therefore, we didn't get the pushing distance. We're in bounds, but we're short. We're like circle two at best. That's my Frisbee. We're short. In bounds, but short. Nemesis hole. We'll go ahead and crush these out to a cool 230 feet. And then as we go to pick them up and walk to the next hole, I'll tell you what option 2 is. You thought I forgot that I left you on a cliffhanger. No, I knew it. I knew it. Wind check. Okay. Right to left headwinds. Little nosy, but we got a hold of it. Just a little nosy. Green steel. Ah, you child! Child! Hold on to the Frisbee! Sweep time. Here we go. Not a great release. Better than green steel. Better than green steel. One of these days I'll be able to throw a backhand without overthinking. It'll be when I'm dead and old, but I'll be able to throw a backhand without overthinking. One of these days it's gonna be so wonderful. So the idea of, if you guys aren't picking the disc that goes on trial, is that one of you is going to comment something along the lines of, I love the trail, except I just wish that it was a tick more overstable. And then people are going to interact with that comment, and they're going to like it. They're going to comment below on that comment, and whatever the most interacted with problem of why we're putting the trail on trial will be what I go out and I find a disc to compare to the trail, and I put it side by side. So rather than having to go through the, oh, well, the vulture may be it, it doesn't seem like the vulture's it for me, you can sort of find the episode that more so fits why you have the trail on trial, and therefore I can sort of work through what it's supposed to be. All of the rage and frustration of the backhands on the previous hole comes from the fact that I just filmed yesterday. And when Lindsay asked me, how'd filming go today? I said, it was kind of a great day. I felt like I was throwing backhands like really well. And then I come to today and I picked the distance driver day, or the fairway distance control driver day, walking in with confidence because I say, well, I was throwing well yesterday, so I might as well keep that mojo rolling and throw well today. Psych, it's the wrong number. Up the gut, par 4, 422 feet. You'll see why. Well, maybe you will. If these are like remotely close, then you'll see why. But it's down there, and then it's in like a very protected, very, very protected tunnel. Green steel, we're gonna start with you, buddy, because you've not really thrown well today. See, you just had to trash talk it, just had to slander it. Put it on trial, and it steps up and it carries the whole 350 pretty comfortably. Trail number 2. Misses that tree, that's gonna be money. Okay, that's 2 shots right where we're trying to go. You guys are gonna get to see the little entrance. Here we go. Sweep. Gonna try to throw the sweep flat and just see what it does. Or I'll just throw it on hyzer like a dum-dum. You know what? Joke's on you, disc golf world. I will not be kicked down when I've thrown multiple good shots. So I will retrieve this frisbee, and I, with the utmost spirits, will pick you up and throw you again. And when you, Sir Isaac Robinson, try to avenge me with your hooded Robin Hood-esque figure of the sweep, I will say, ha-ha! I may not have picked you for worlds with my picks, but in my heart, the Georgia boys will always hold together. So do not betray me, young Sir Isaac. Let us demonstrate the beauty of your frisbee with my noodleist of arms, so that the people may find a good one. Isaac! What did we just say, Isaac? It's dark times out here, guys. Dark times out here. Oh, look, first try. Bang. That's the tunnel, everyone. That's where we were trying to go. Good thing we threw it in that tunnel for the first try. I mean, that would have been embarrassing if it took us 2 throws to do that. Bad. Tunnel. Bad. Tunnel. All right, here we're playing to a pin location that's through the trees over the river of the Concrete and next to grandmother's house. So with these discs, other than like cheating it through the trees, it's really tough to get a look from here. My favorite line is the forehand out and around, because then you have like an easy jump putt. But with these discs, we're just gonna rip it down the direction. So Isaac, let's talk again, my friend. I'd really like to throw you well on camera here. It's a wide open space. It'd be such a cool opportunity to showcase the beautiful flight that you have. Are you interested?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You heard it here first, guys. I mean, at this point, it feels personal. Trail. Nope, we're just releasing all over the place because it's so humid and I should have brought a chalk bag. This weather is super fun. All right, green steel right up the gut. We're due. Nope. Well, it spun and went straight. Wide open hole. How about 3 bad shots for you, everybody? Are we about to cut this short because Robbie can't seem to throw a frisbee? I feel like that's every time that I come to this course and I try to throw anything faster than a 7-speed. I get to this point in the video and my mental just goes haywire. And when it goes haywire, I just lose the capacity to keep throwing frisbees. I do think that's going to be a subtle perk of this series, is the fact that when that sad, strange little man shows up and decides like, oh yeah, I don't know how to throw frisbees. I'm pretty bad. Welcome. You're going to get to see what it's like when you throw these discs as someone with a lower arm speed. And then occasionally, the guy that's put in a ton of effort and frustration and sweat and tears and all of the work, he's gonna show up and be like, wow, like, I actually know how to throw frisbees. And you're gonna be like, wow, this is what these discs are supposed to do? And it'll be a fun surprise every video that you guys get to experience and that I get to experience, and I get to like decide, do I hate myself today? Nah, it's just frisbee golf. It's just frisbee golf, dude. It's not your job. Like, you're not supposed to be working at this and getting better because you like put in so much time and frustration. And oh, why is it never gonna change? Anheuser gang, this is why we film the thumbnails before we start the video. Sweep. That was pretty nice. See, so here's what I would say. Did I throw that nose up? Yes. Yes, I did throw it nose up. But like, I threw it nose up on anhyzer and it never even really leaned into that anhyzer. So I think that sweep is definitely more overstable than a trail. Let's see if I can actually be a good YouTuber here and showcase this trail on the exact same line. Nope, I put that one a little more nose up. But what about green steel? Can we put it on anhyzer? Okay, also a little nosy, but we did put it on anhyzer. They all 3 got to fly. They all got 3 got to go a little distance, sorry shot. Guys, we watched frisbee fly. What a beautiful time we just had together. So I think that's gonna be my final verdict on the sweep. If you're looking for great hand feel, feels honestly like a, I mean, it's a 9-speed compared to a 10, so it feels a little more smaller rim. At least it feels that way for me than the trail. It doesn't have that overmold feeling if that's not it for you, and it's a tick more stability. So if you're someone that likes to throw a little baby anhyzer, I think this could be it for you, because the trail is probably a disc that when you really lean into that baby anhyzer, it's just not really fighting out of it, unless you throw it nose up like I did this time, twice. So, sweep, Latitude 64. You did a good job. It goes far, like it definitely goes far. A couple times that I got a hold of it. I mean, it outdrove on hole 2, it outdrove my trail. I thought it threw the trail pretty well. So here, it outdrove green steel, and it outdrove the trail again. The top pinned comment is going to be my comment that's gonna say disc or problem. You're gonna respond to that comment by saying disc or problem. Yeah. And with that, once we settle on that, we won't really know, but I want you to go ahead and comment either the reason that you want to put the trail on trial, and the most responded to comment based on how the votes land, we'll go into that one, or vote the disc that you want to see the trail compared to. And if disc wins, then we'll go to the most voted on disc. So you guys got a lot of homework to do in this comment section. Thank you for your help. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Please make it fantastic for someone else too. But for now, this sad, strange little man is going to leave you with a birdie.